Cybersecurity refers to the measures that individuals, organizations, and governments take to protect their digital assets from unauthorized access, theft, or damage. This includes things like personal information, financial data, and intellectual property. Cybersecurity also involves protecting computer systems and networks from malware, viruses, and other malicious software. Cybersecurity is important because so much of our daily lives now take place online, and cyber attacks can have serious consequences for individuals and organizations alike. These consequences can include financial loss, reputational damage, and even physical harm. In addition, cyber attacks can also have broader societal impacts, such as disrupting critical infrastructure or undermining democratic processes. Over the past several years, there has been a significant increase in the frequency and severity of cyber attacks, driven in part by the increasing digitization of our lives and the growing sophistication of cybercriminals. According to one report, the global cost of cybercrime is expected to reach $6 trillion by 2025. Some recent high-profile cyber attacks have included the SolarWinds hack, the ransomware attack on the Colonial Pipeline, and the WannaCry malware attack. In this video, we will cover some of the most common types of cybersecurity threats, as well as the vulnerabilities that cyber attackers look for and the impacts of cyber attacks. We will also provide some tips and best practices for individuals and organizations on how to protect themselves from cyber threats. Malware. Malware refers to any software that is designed to harm, disrupt, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system or network. This can include viruses, Trojan horses, and spyware. Example: in 2017, the WannaCry ransomware attack infected hundreds of thousands of computers worldwide, encrypting files and demanding payment in exchange for access to them. Phishing. Phishing is a type of social engineering attack in which an attacker attempts to trick a victim into revealing sensitive information, such as passwords or financial data, by posing as a trustworthy entity. Example: in 2020, the Twitter accounts of several high-profile individuals and companies were hacked in a phishing attack that resulted in the theft of Bitcoin worth over $100,000. Ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts a victim's files and demands payment in exchange for the decryption key. It can be delivered through a variety of methods, including phishing emails or infected downloads. Example: in 2021, the Colonial Pipeline, which supplies fuel to much of the eastern United States, was hit by a ransomware attack that forced it to shut down operations for several days. Social engineering. Social engineering is a technique used by cyber attackers to manipulate or trick people into divulging sensitive information or performing actions that are against their own best interests. Example: in 2019, a group of cybercriminals used social engineering tactics to convince several high-ranking executives at a British energy company to transfer over $200,000 to a fraudulent account. These are just a few examples of the types of cyber threats that individuals and organizations face. The impact of these threats can be devastating, leading to financial loss, reputational damage, and other serious consequences. It's important for individuals and organizations to be aware of these threats and take steps to protect themselves from them. Cyber attackers often exploit vulnerabilities in software to gain unauthorized access to computer systems and networks. Tip: keep all software up to date with the latest security patches and updates. This can help to prevent attackers from exploiting known vulnerabilities. Weak passwords are a common vulnerability that can be easily exploited by cyber attackers. They can also be compromised through brute force attacks or password guessing. Tip: use strong, complex passwords that include a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. Consider using a password manager to generate and store complex passwords. Unsecured or poorly configured networks can be easily accessed by cyber attackers, who can then use them to gain access to sensitive data and systems. Tip: ensure that all networks are properly secured with firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and other security measures. Regularly review network configurations and conduct security audits. Phishing attacks rely on social engineering tactics to trick victims into divulging sensitive information. They often take the form of emails or other communications that appear to be from a trusted source. Tip: educate employees and individuals on how to spot phishing attacks, and encourage them to exercise caution when opening emails or clicking on links. Implement email filtering and other security measures to detect and prevent phishing attacks. By taking steps to mitigate these and other vulnerabilities, individuals and organizations can significantly reduce their risk of becoming victims of cyber attacks. It's important to stay vigilant and proactive when it comes to cybersecurity, as the threat landscape is constantly evolving. Cyber attacks can result in significant financial losses for individuals and organizations. This can include direct costs, such as the cost of restoring systems and data, as well as indirect costs, such as lost revenue and productivity. Example: the 2017 Equifax data breach, which exposed sensitive personal information of 143 million people, is estimated to have cost the company over $1.4 billion in damages. Successful cyber attacks can also result in reputational damage, as customers and stakeholders may lose trust in an organization's ability to protect their sensitive information. Example: in 2013, Target experienced a data breach that compromised the credit and debit card information of 40 million customers. The company faced significant reputational damage and lost millions of dollars in revenue as a result. Cyber attacks can also result in the theft or loss of intellectual property, including trade secrets and other sensitive information. This can have serious implications for an organization's competitiveness and ability to innovate. Example: in 2014, Sony Pictures Entertainment experienced a massive cyber attack that resulted in the theft of confidential information, including unreleased films and employee data. The attack was believed to be motivated by the company's upcoming release of a film about North Korea. These are just a few examples of the potential impacts of a successful cyber attack. The consequences can be devastating, and it's important for individuals and organizations to take steps to protect themselves from these threats. This includes implementing robust security measures and staying vigilant against the latest attack techniques. Use strong passwords. Use strong, complex passwords that include a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. Avoid using easily guessable information such as birthdays or names. Consider using a password manager to generate and store complex passwords. Keep software up to date. Keep all software up to date with the latest security patches and updates. This can help to prevent attackers from exploiting known vulnerabilities. Be cautious about clicking on links or downloading attachments. Be cautious when clicking on links or downloading attachments from unknown or suspicious sources. These can often contain malware or other malicious software. Use antivirus software. Use antivirus software and other security tools to help detect and prevent malware and other threats. Limit access to sensitive information. Limit access to sensitive information only to those who need it. This can help to reduce the risk of unauthorized access and data breaches. Regularly back up data. Regularly back up all data, both locally and in the cloud. This can help to ensure that important data is not lost in the event of a cyber attack. In addition to these tips, cybersecurity training and education is also critical for individuals and organizations to protect themselves from cyber threats. This includes learning about the latest threats and attack techniques, as well as best practices for security in data protection. There are many resources available for cybersecurity training and education, including online courses, webinars, and certifications. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, and the International Association of Computer Science and Information Technology, IACSIT, are just a few examples of organizations that offer cybersecurity training and resources. In summary, by implementing these tips and investing in cybersecurity education and training, individuals and organizations can better protect themselves from cyber threats and reduce the risk of a successful attack. In summary, the video highlighted the importance of cybersecurity and the increasing threat of cyber attacks.